Daniel Sports Central, we go over a college football game preview and prediction on the 2021 college football playoff semifinal matchup between the Michigan Wolverines and the Georgia Bulldogs. Huge matchup for both these teams coming up here in the college football playoff semifinals. Michigan just beat Iowa in the Big Ten title game. They're Big Ten champions, and they also beat Ohio State the week before. So, Michigan, this has been their season. They've played phenomenal all year long, and this is a huge opportunity for Michigan. They've beaten Ohio State. They've won the Big Ten title. And now they've got a chance to beat Georgia and go to the national title game. This is what's happening here in this matchup. A lot's at stake for them. And same thing for Georgia. Georgia, this is a phenomenal football team. They've played stellar all season long. They are one of the most dominant teams in the nation defensively. They're allowing 9 points a game. That is an average through 13 games for them this football season. Did take their first loss of the year to Alabama there in the SEC title game, but otherwise this team has been dominant all season long, to say the least. So should make for a good matchup here in the college football playoff Orange Bowl. We'll be going over a full game preview and prediction on this matchup here today, starting out with your team trends. Michigan beat Iowa 42-3 in the Big Ten title game. That was a huge game for Michigan, of course, coming off of that massive win against Ohio State. Some people questioned whether Michigan would be ready, especially after a huge emotional game like that Ohio State game was. But Michigan, they were ready to go, 42-3. They took care of Iowa, and this team has been on fire down the stretch. They're a very hot football team at the right time. They beat Maryland back on November 20th, 59-18. Also beat Penn State before that, beat Ohio State 42-27, beat Iowa 42-3. So once again, Michigan has been on fire right now. They're playing phenomenal. 12-1 is their record right now, with a 5-game winning streak as well. As for Georgia, lost to Alabama 24-41, number 3 team in the nation at the time. So an unfortunate loss there for Georgia in the SEC title game, but they're 12-1. Still one of the most dominant teams in the nation for sure. Game will be on Friday, December 31st, Miami Gardens, Florida. New Year's Eve night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time is your kickoff time. Spread's going with Georgia here by 8. So I expected Georgia to be favored for this game, but it is kind of surprising seeing how much Georgia is favored by in this game, which is 8 points here. FPI is also going on Georgia's side, 67.6%. As of right now, over-under is 45, and in the series history, it's actually tied 1-1. Last time these two teams played each other, Georgia won, but that was back in 1965, so it's been a long time since we saw these two teams play each other. Here's your stat comparison for this game. Michigan's got 37 points per game, 16 points allowed, 228 passers a game, 223 rush yards, and then for yards allowed, he got 194 passing, 121 for rushing. So for Michigan here, their offense has been definitely one of the best in the Big Ten, that's for sure. 37 points per game. But if you're looking at defenses here, I do give Georgia the upper hand defensively. It's been one of the best defenses I've ever seen here. 9 points allowed per game in the SEC, such a high-powered offensive conference, and Georgia's play just lights out defense every single game. Did allow 41 points there to Alabama, but Alabama is, they're an exception. They're a phenomenal football team, and Bryce Young, that offense is insane. But otherwise, Georgia's defense has just been phenomenal this football season. But if you're looking at Michigan's offense here, rushing game has been a huge part of the past few games. Hassan Askins leads that in rushing right now, 1,200 yards, 20 touchdowns. Corum, of course, has been off and on over the past couple of games as well. So, yeah, for Michigan, great offense. Cade McNamara has been a huge part of that as well. 2,400 yards, 15 touchdowns, 4 picks. He's had a great season as well. Defensively, Michigan has also had a good season, especially in the pass defense. 194 average pass yards allowed, and then 121 average rush yards allowed. As for Georgia, 39 points per game, 9 points allowed, 247 pass yards a game, 194 rush yards, and then for yards allowed, 172 passing, 81 for rushing. So offensively, Georgia's been good this season, but defensively, that's really been the highlight for this Georgia football team, and that's what's really gotten them those big wins. Some recent matchups: Michigan beat Iowa 42-3, beat Ohio State 42-27, beat Maryland 59-18, beat Penn State 21-17, and also beat Indiana 29-7. So down the stretch, in particular the past month, Michigan has been a pretty dominant football team. As for Georgia, lost to Alabama 24-41, beat Georgia Tech 45-0, beat Charleston Southern 56-7, beat Tennessee 41-17 on the road, and beat Missouri 43-6. Some key points: both teams 12-1. Michigan beat Ohio State and then won a Big Ten title. Exactly what this football team needed to do to get to the college football playoff. And some people question whether or not Jim Harbaugh could get to the college football playoff. He's been close a few times, but he just can't get past Ohio State, and he can't get to the Big Ten title game. But look what happened this year. He beat Ohio State. His team beat Ohio State, and then they won the Big Ten title. So this is great news for Michigan, seeing Jim Harbaugh leading a team to the college football playoff. And I mean, this football team isn't even that experienced. I mean, this is a younger football team, and I mean, the future is very bright for Michigan football. This isn't the only year that we're going to see Michigan in the college football playoff. Rushing game has been a major factor for Michigan, especially the past 2-3 games or so. I mean, Hassan Haskins in particular has had a huge part in that. 1,200 yards of rushing, 20 touchdowns on the season. He has had a huge impact on this offense, and they've been on a different level the past 3 games. I mean, this entire team. I mean, if you look at the past 3 results for Michigan here, beat Iowa 42-3, beat Ohio State by 15, beat Maryland 59-18. Maryland's in a bowl game right now, and I mean, Michigan went there and beat them 59-18. Just a phenomenal win there as well. I mean, don't forget about that one. I mean, beat Iowa and Ohio State, but also beat Maryland by a lot. As for Georgia, they've been extremely dominant as well all season long. Defensively especially, I mean, that's been the big highlight of this football team, allowing only 9 points on average per game. Definitely something to note there. And quality wins do include Arkansas, Auburn, and Kentucky. And some people have questioned whether or not Georgia's strength of schedule, especially after that loss to Alabama. Some people are questioning whether Georgia is really that good of a football team, and to that, I feel like that argument is completely void. I mean, Georgia, if you look at the results over the course of the season, even if their schedule was weak, which it's not, even if it was weak, just looking at those scores, they've been so dominant all season long. I mean, this team is as good as their ranking shows. I mean, they beat Arkansas 37-0. Arkansas was ranked number 8 at the time. Beat Auburn. They're in a bowl game right now at 6-6, 34-10. Beat Kentucky. They were number 11 at the time they played them, 30-13. Beat Florida 34-7. Beat Tennessee. Beat Missouri by big margins, and they beat South Carolina 40-13 back in week 3. So Georgia, they're a very good football team. I mean, it's the argument that their strength of schedule is weak is pretty weak if you ask me. So yeah, 12-1 Georgia, even though they lost to Alabama, still a very good football team here. That's it. Let's get to the prediction here for Michigan and Georgia. College football playoff semifinal game. I'm going to go Bulldogs here. 27-24 is my predicted final score. And this is about as close to a coin toss as it gets. You got 2 excellent, dominant football teams, pretty similar for the most part, except Georgia's defense is what gives them the edge in this game. I just think, Georgia's defense statistically, talent-wise, the way they played all season long, Georgia, their defense is just slightly better than Michigan's, and I think that's what gets them the win in the end here. 27-24 is my predicted final score. It's going to be closer than the spread. The spread's going 8 points towards Georgia right now. I do think Michigan covers that. If it goes up to 10, 8, 10, 6, whatever, Michigan's going to cover the spread. I think it's going to be a close game all the way through, moderate to or lower scoring game. I would be very surprised if Georgia blew out Michigan here. It's a possibility, but I just don't see it happening. I think Michigan, this football team, the way that they've played over the past 3 games, it's going to be close. And I think Michigan gives themselves a chance to win, and they definitely can win this game. It could easily go either way. Like, if you told me Michigan was going to win this game, I would totally believe you. It could easily go either way. But I'm going to go 51% towards Georgia. So once again, just about as close as it gets. Georgia, though, I just think their defense, once again, that's what gives them the slight edge in this game. Over-under is 45. I'm going to take the over by just a few points for this one. And once again, Michigan to cover. But let me know your thoughts and comments below. And I appreciate you guys all watching. As always, stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. I'll see you later.